Evening, leaders. Good evening. Come on in. Welcome to tonight's Women Leaders Walk the Talk panel discussion. We're going to be conversing tonight. I like to say we are going to converse. We're going to have some good conversation. I know I say panel discussion, but I always like to say we're going to talk and have good conversation. So I want to first start out with just getting like the energy or getting some engagement in the chat. So if you are logged on, and I know we may have to wait just a few minutes for people to hop on, but if you are in the chat or if you're in the room tonight, let us know how you're doing. How was your day? Where are you from? We want to know that. Let us know where you are from. How was your day? Because we want to support you. We want to send good vibes your way, even if it was an amazing day. We want to make sure everybody's having a good one. If you have ever, if you've never joined our Women Leaders Walk and Talk panel discussions, you are in for a treat. Why do I do this? It's because I believe in the strength and the voices of women. And through my company, the Greater You Leadership Series, I wanted to be sure to incorporate a platform that amplifies the voice of women to the umpteenth power. Women leaders, we are the backbone of everything. We should be celebrated. But we will start or continue tonight celebrating ourselves. Thus the reason for tonight. So we started in 2020 with Women Leaders Walk the Talk, and it feels good to be able to say we are still here. And there is so much more in store. So I'm gonna take a second and just kind of check out my chat and see if I've got anything going. I wanna make sure I'm acknowledging people. You all use your emojis tonight. We want emojis. We want amens. We want all of the above. I don't know what your preference is, but we want to see it and we want to make sure that we're engaging with you tonight. We had the Women Leaders Walk the Talk conference. I have to mention that because that was probably the last big thing we did. And I am still full from it, you all. So after tonight, I know I'm gonna be running over. I just want to let you know, Alicia, Tabitha, I already know y'all gonna have me like running over. I'm gonna need these tissues. I'm gonna be trying to just, gather it and absorb it and suck it up as much as I can. So I'm really looking forward to y'all sharing with us tonight. I'm just making sure I'm looking at everything. Everything is going good right here. Give me 1 second. We are there. Perfect. So have you ever heard of the saying dress the part or dress for where you're trying to go? I've always lived by this ever since my dad told me about it, I think back in the 80s. And imagine being 10 years old trying to dress like a CEO of a corporation. It didn't exactly happen that way because I didn't have a three button down dress suit. I didn't own one of those at 10. I didn't have a briefcase, but I knew what I wanted to do. And I built myself around it. So in my head, I was wearing a suit. In my head, since I was 10, I've been a CEO since I was 10, right? And I've been trying to build around that. I was wearing that suit. I've been carrying my briefcase. And it doesn't mean that I've gotten it right every time either, but I've always worked to define and refine my brand. I know that my brand has played a huge part in my successes. And guess what else? In my failures too, because we have both, right? And sometimes we're contributing to that, whether we know it or not, right? And our brand and how we carry ourselves and how we define ourselves outwardly, well, it starts internally and then outwardly, plays a part in that. So over time, while I was thinking about, building this brand and being this CEO in my head, the focus grew beyond my exterior. Like it wasn't just about the suit and the briefcase. And my focus really began to be more about like, how am I building trust? How am I building the respect of my expertise? Am I translating myself in an authentic way so that people want my brand? Like that's where my focus eventually shifted. So the saying, dress the part, even more means more if you stretch the context. To me, it really means practicing and executing how you plan and want to be received so you can go where you're trying to go. Doing so creates your brand. So ask yourself this question as we move through tonight. I should say, ask yourself these questions. How are you selling yourself? Okay, how are you selling yourself? That's a question I want you to think about as we talk tonight. Yes, how are you selling yourself? It doesn't matter if you may not get any monetary return, right? But how are you selling yourself? And put that in the chat too, if you can do that. How are you actually selling yourself? All right. And would you buy what you're selling? How about that hard question? Would you buy what you're selling? Would you say?
Whoa.
You know, you got to ask yourself that hard question. What does your brand look like? You know, would you buy? Would your brand go under? Like in the first year, they say what your first 3 years are your hardest years of business. You know, would you go under? Would you go into bankruptcy because of your brand? Does your brand reflect you? And here's one that's really tough. Would others trust your brand? So outside of ourselves as individuals, as leaders, we are always in constant motion to gain buy-in. Doesn't matter what you're doing. You may be trying to push a new project. Maybe you're trying to support your team. Maybe it's trying to give back to the community or garner votes for something, right? We're getting an election season for a lot of different places, right? Their brands matter. You know, they're trying to get the buy-in. So to build trust, how are you represented? What are the values that you exude? Does your vision for yourself and your intent match what is received by those that you influence? Or who can even influence you? So you don't have to be McDonald's, you don't have to be Chick-fil-A, you don't have to be Victoria's Secret to create a brand strategy or even understand the correlation between effective branding and success. So think about those brands that you trust and why. And put that in the chat tonight. Like what are some of the brands that you trust and why do you trust them? Okay. And think about how those brands, why do you trust them and why? I want to know that. That's basically what I'm trying to say. I want to know that. So per usual, let me get to what y'all really can. Y'all did not come to listen to me tonight. Okay. I know what it is. My feelings are not hurt. I know why y'all are here. Per usual, tonight, our panelists are the experts. They are the gurus. They are our tour guides for the evening. And we are going to learn so much about branding through their lens. And I think it's going to be really, really insightful. They are powerhouses in their respective industries and their communities. And if you know me, being a powerhouse in your community is so, so important. And these ladies do that. They are absolutely walking the talk. So without further ado, I introduce and reintroduce to you tonight, Tabitha James, which she is me, and image consultant Alicia Jones. They are going to get us all the way together tonight. As my daughter, I'm hoping she's watching. Y'all gonna snatch our edges tonight. I want you to snatch my edges, the little bit that I got right there. I want you to take them. And I look forward to us to learning tonight. So good evening, ladies.
Hello, how are you?
I'm well. How are you all doing tonight?
Excited about being here.
Yes,
Awesome,
really excited.
Good deal. So I'm gonna jump right in. If you have been watching this, I don't know what episode we're on now, but if you've been following us for a while, I absolutely always have to ask this question first, because this is still about leadership. We're going to talk about branding tonight, but we're going to talk about it also in the vein of how we are going to be more effective leaders, because we're going to get this information tonight. So describe leadership and what it means to you, but guess what? In one word.
So for me, I would say that leadership is modeling.
Okay, modeling. What about you?
My word is very similar. It's the example. So example.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. See, y'all got to teach me tonight. My mind in the wrong place. I'm thinking about the wrong way when you said Alicia. And you said modeling. I'm like, I'm ready to go down the wrong way. Y'all snatch my edges, get me right. Okay. I told you, snatch my edges and get me right. So tell me why you chose modeling. Tell me why you chose the example. I want to hear kind of your undertone for why that represents leadership for you.
Well, for me, I've been in leadership for a very long time. And I realized that sometimes leaders feel that they are not the example, but the exception. And that's simply not true. Leaders have to model the behavior that they want to see happen in their environments. I mean, it's just really plain and simple. You can share a mission, you can share a vision, you can talk to people about the mission and the vision and how to accomplish it. I mean, you can give them step-by-step instructions about how to accomplish it. And you know what they're going to do? They're going to take the information and then they're going to watch you. They're going to watch how you model the way, how you move forward, how closely you adhere to what you've asked for them to do.
I like it.
When you can do it, that's when you build the loyalty. So that's, my thought on it.
That's good. What about you, Tabitha? Example.
That's good. Same vein, very similar vein of the example, because I'm going to either, in my leadership style, I'm either going to be the example or provide you with a solid example, right? So in leading, a lot of times if I'm asking someone to do something or I'm trying to recommend something to someone and I may not be that, here's an example of what that is, right? Here is a resource, right? Here is something that I can get to you. So as the leader, I'm saying, okay, Tay, I don't do that there, but I'm going to give you this as an example. That's how I provide them. But to the point of modeling, it's like, I'm also be the example. If I expect you to be here and be on time, I'm on time. If I expect you to go the extra mile, I'm going the extra mile because it's never crowded. And I'm going to be an example of that every single time. And if I fall short, I'm going to also be an example of admitting where I may have had a downside or where something I didn't go correctly. I'm not going to try to be an example of this illusion of perfection either. So that's kind of where I'm coming from with example.
I love it. And I always ask that question because we're going to be talking about leadership, right? And usually your definition of leadership, we're going to hear that thread throughout the entire night. And so I always like to capture it on the front end and see that support of that conversation throughout. But what I took was not the leader, but the exception. Like sometimes we think that, and I never considered that. And you're right, Alicia. Sometimes we think of more of ourselves as the leader. Not being the leader, but more of the exception, and we're not. And I wrote down, it's never crowded on that road, taking the extra mile. Come on now. It's never crowded. It's plenty of room for everybody to get on there and do what needs to be done, by all means necessary. So I absolutely appreciate that. So self-branding is subjective, but there are some core considerations that we have to make sure that we're taking into account. So I wanted to know from each of you, what do you consider self-branding to be in your own words?
I'm gonna defer to Tabitha first.
Okay. Okay, sounds good. I say for me, it's who you are, your core, your values, the things that no matter what, they don't shake or turn, right? And so when I talk about going the extra mile, it's never crowded. That's in my work life, that's in philanthropy, that's in how I am with my family. That's a core value of mine. That's something that I stand by. If I set a standard on something, typically that's not shaking despite which hat I'm putting on at that particular time. So when I think about self-branding as it relates to as we're building brands, or you're in a company, or you're working for a company, you may do that and you may have a particular title or a particular hat that you put on at that time, but your brand is you. That's who you are. And add to your point earlier of dressing the part, I'm sure it's like, shit, a little spiffy, right? That's a part of your brand because they know how you coming, right? They know that short hair gonna be laid, right? They know ours is gonna be cut and shaved. And so we understand that assignment of what our personal brands or our self brands mean to us. So for me, that's really what it is, that value, that core of a person.
I love it. I love it.
And to piggyback off of what Tabitha said, for me, self-branding starts with authenticity. A show is gonna only last for so long. So you can buy a ticket to a show and you can go to the show. There's a time limit, there's a time frame. But as it relates to authenticity, you have to show up as the person you are. And then you want to fine tune what you have in order to be your best self. You don't want to show up. Self-branding is showing up as your authentic self. And first, it's an inside job. Before the makeup, before your clothes, before it's your thoughts about yourself, how you think about yourself, how you feel about yourself, and those energies are going to be channeled to who you create. Who you become, I remember listening to an interview and someone was asked the same question. And, it was stated that we all wake up the same way. And we have to create who we want to be when we walk out the door. But we have to be authentic about that person. And it starts with your thoughts. I don't feel like I'm not doing nothing to my hair today. I'm just going to hit the door. Okay. And you're going to be walking around looking like you didn't do nothing to your hair today.
Like you hit the door.
Right. That's how the world will see you. But
Yeah.
you know, you want to always be authentic. My self brand, when you see me, I'm gonna have my makeup on. It's just part of who I am. I'm gonna put on lipstick to go to the mailbox. You know, you just never know. You know, I could be riding down the car. If I see riding in the car down the street, if I see my lipstick, I got to put my lipstick on. I might see somebody at the red light. So but that's part of my branding. But my thought process is, I want to look my best. You know, when I walk out.
Yeah, I love it. It is that self-awareness. I always say the core, so I have 4 core values when I think about my company and the things that I like to make sure that I speak to as being critical. And self-awareness is it. And you're right, it's an inside job. You know, we talk about what do people see, how is how we feel internally translating externally, right?
I say that all the time.
Yeah,
Beauty is an inside job. You know, you can go to any makeup counter, or even as a male, you can go to every store that you want to go to and try to buy the best clothes. But you know what? If your mindset is not right about how you feel about yourself, the clothes, the makeup, none of it will matter. It won't.
Absolutely. I love it. So then I think about when you sign on to a job, you know, I don't know about y'all, but sometimes we look for jobs. And one of the first things that you're asking about outside of your base pay, you inquire about the benefits. Like you want to know, what does that benefit package look like? I know you know Alicia HR, you know, you can tell us about some benefit packages. Absolutely. But we want to know that. So what are the benefits of making sure we pay attention to the way we brand ourselves? What are those benefits we really need to, you know, why we need to buy into the process and really be intentional about it?
That's good. I think it makes being and doing you quite easy when you are dedicated to being who you are, right? That the authenticity piece, if I could talk tonight, is always going to shine through because you are you, right? You've committed to being yourself. You're committed to the person that you are, and you aren't changing face every day, right? You may change that lip color, but you probably not changing what comes out of those lips, right? And who you are and what that means for you. And I think that that's one of the biggest pieces. You're rock solid, despite which job you might be applying for. You put that base pay in, but you showing up and you know that you're the benefit, right? You're one of the major benefits. And your confidence is going to be exuded more when you're aware of what your brand and the core values that you bring are. Because oftentimes, especially I see it in women, especially women of color, when that imposter syndrome start kicking in, our confidence start getting a little lower. If we remind ourselves of who we are, what we've built, what we've done to get here, it can help us to then say, I'm that girl, you know, I'm me, I deserve this, I should be here. And so when we lack, if you will, in knowing who we are and being self-aware of our brand, we will more so subscribe to the imposter syndrome instead of going further away from it, in my opinion.
Right. I agree.
I agree. I took down, you are the benefit.
Yeah, you the gift. You are the gift.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that.
To the world.
That's important. That's important.
You're the gift to the world. What are you giving away? What are you sharing from yourself, out of yourself? So you got to put something in there in order to share something. It's like a bank account. You know, it can get to the point where you don't have any funds to withdraw. So you have to feed your spirit with positive things. And for me, that is God, the word of God, you know, and I know, you know, and for those who, whatever it is for you, that works for you, but God has done it for me. And I want to be clear about that, but you still have to talk to him so he can talk back to you and provide you what you need to pour into other people. You can't do it with the empty glass.
Cannot. It's not even possible.
Right.
I love it. So when we think about leadership, a lot of times when we think about self-branding, we're thinking about the Chick-fil-A's, we think about the organizations. We're like, they're trying to brand themselves, but as leaders, we are doing that. I mentioned earlier, as a leader, you are always trying to get the buy-in of somebody. You're trying to sell something like, I need you on my team. I need you to do the work on my team. I need you to believe in this process. I need you to believe this is not just a waste of your time. I need you to want to lead on the team. Whatever it is, we're always looking for buy-in when we're leading. So how do you see self-branding and leadership correlating? If at all, you may not even see it that way, but how do you see the correlation there?
Well, the way I see the correlation between self-branding and leadership is, especially with self-branding, you want to create an environment where people want to follow you. Guess what? You cannot make anybody follow you. You can manage them, you can lead them, but they still may not follow you. They may do what you ask them to do. But you want to create an environment where your presence is the type of presence that, causes people to want to pursue for better. There are people, I bet, watching us right now talking and thinking, oh, wow, that's amazing. That's so profound. But it was a story to get me here. My story is not who my story, what you see today, it took a long time for me to get to a level of confidence where I thought I could even, have this conversation online in front of so many people. But I want to model in a culture where it seems like there's dying, where there's constantly killing, where people don't have hope, where, we all we see is wars and rumors of wars and, all of these, pandemic. We've lived through a pandemic. So what do I model to give people hope? That's what I want to do as a leader and just as a person in general, because, we are leaders of people we don't even know. Some people are just watching and following our leader.
Man, I don't even know which note to say, because you just unpacked a lot on there. But what do I model to give people hope? Like that one right there, that stung. And again, there you are talking about the modeling and the branding, and that's what you want to give off. But how are we modeling ourselves to give other people hope? We probably had somebody do it for us, right? So how can we do that in return? I love it. I love it. Yeah. What about you, Tab?
I have to go back to example, right? For me, they go together because I want to be that example for the person, especially for the person I may have been who didn't believe that any of these things were possible. Or the person that's saying, wow, that's so, even if you have no desire to do any of the things that I do, maybe you are connected to me because I'm dark skinned. Maybe you're connected to me because I'm short. Maybe because I'm from a small rural area. Whatever that connector point is, that is a point of inspiration for someone I'm consciously or unconsciously leading, because she did it, I can do it too, right? Because she's just so confidently doing it. She'll jump on a plane, she'll get on a boat, she'll do this, whatever, and dedicated to whatever it takes also, right? Not just saying, okay, yes, we made the vision board in January, but what was the execution plan that we can continue it throughout the rest of the year or throughout the rest of this lifetime, right? What does that look like? I'm not just here just to be like, hey, yeah, we made all these plans, the execution of that, right? And so being the example of, if you set the goal and then you execute, you're going to see a byproduct of that, even if it isn't what you initially were set out to get, but because you were in motion, you landed where you were supposed to be. And so being that example to just keep going in the most healthy way possible. I'm not saying that, keep going and burn yourself out, but keep going and staying that course. So those two definitely correlate for me.
Love it. So how do you, I guess, how do I want to say this? Do you believe the idea of self-branding is misunderstood? Do you think some people get it wrong? Like they look confused, and why do you think that happens oftentimes? I got an answer, but I'm gonna see what y'all.
So Alicia, I'm still the first one on this one. And because I don't know if it is a day and time situation, I don't know if it's I don't know what it is, but especially in the entrepreneurship, side hustle, build your business type of culture, a lot of times people think the brand is the logo, the quote, the what you wore, like what your stylist got for you for this particular shoot, but not your everyday life, but like for this particular moment for you to smile and whatever. That's not the brand, you know, that's performance, if you will. That's performative. Yes. That's also like your logo, your company slogan, your this, your that, your third, the event title. Those are assets, those are accessories. That ain't the brand, especially if you're doing personal branding or you're building a company or you're building your resume, you're building your portfolio off of who you are. That logo don't matter, child. That thing, it don't too much make no, never mind. You know, so I think a lot of times it gets misunderstood that you think you're gonna build it based off the perception, but you're gonna build it off of the reality.
I love that. I love that. What about you, Alicia?
You know, I'm sometimes I wonder if people even know what branding is.
That's why we started there first. We wanted to get the definition first, right? Because they don't know.
When I go to the grocery store, and what I see in the grocery store, when we come into the grocery store, is just really challenging. And we wear everything. We wear pajamas, we wear house shoes, we wear bonnets, we wear, but wherever you go, it's your brand.
Everywhere.
Your brand is who you are. You will never open a Coca-Cola can and pour Sprite into a glass. It's not gonna happen.
I'm filing a lawsuit. I'm filing a lawsuit if that happens. Just for the record, you're right.
Yeah,
because they're being fraudulent out here, being fraudulent. Authenticity. Oh my goodness, stop! You just made me.
And so it's like when I have indigestion, I go get a ginger ale. It's gonna do the job for me, But I will always taste that pungent flavor of ginger, and that's what we've been told, calms our systems down. So whoever, it goes back to modeling and authenticity. What's down on the inside? I don't even have the mindset to leave here. I could try to leave home in a rush to go do something, and that's like, but you know what? I got to do something to my face and my hair. Now I'm gonna put my ripped jeans on, maybe, and a sweatshirt or a cute little tee or something like that. But it's certain pieces, they're just gonna be on point because that's who I am, and I try to be consistent about it. But for, like Tabitha said, our younger generation, it becomes a challenge to even communicate to them. And I hope they're listening, and I hope they know this is coming from a place of love. When you enter the workforce and you're working for someone other than yourself, you have to follow their rules. And when you open the ABC company and become the CEO, you can wear whatever you want to work. And guess what? The people that work at the ABC company, they're gonna wear whatever they want to wear too, because they're going to model the behavior of the leader. As the leader goes, so goes people, you know what I'm saying? So people, I'm glad we're having this conversation. It's really an answer to a prayer, because I've been wondering, how can I, talk to our younger generation about how we show up, even in our attitudes are wrong,
Yeah.
And all of us have bad days, but you have to talk to yourself sometimes, like, get yourself together. You got to go in here to this job, and you can even, as we stated, Tabitha, say authentically, I'm not feeling my best, but I'm gonna do my best.
Yeah. I always say that if you're not at 100%, that day you're at 80, that day you're at 70, I need all 70. I need all 80. Be it 100% of wherever you want. I need all of it. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think that to that point of, and I probably say this because I work a lot with younger people, and the ability now to just ask a lot more questions than maybe previous generations, right? And so talking about like what's in it for you or what's in it for them, especially as it relates to like attitude and how you show up, that's who you are. And so even for me, I make this reference a lot of times. I moved back to where I was from as an adult, and there were people that I really had to reprove myself. They still saw a version of me from having a bad attitude or from cutting up or from something like that. Those things do follow you. And I'm not saying they make or break you, but when you think about the decisions that you decide to make or the way you pop off or what you might do in public, that image, that perception may or may not be something that you want to carry out long term. Or even to think about running to the store. That's every time. I don't necessarily get dolled up all the time. That ain't my culture. But I do make sure that I look good, so in a way that whoever I bump into, they not like, did Tabitha just get rid of my bus? You know, so you want to make sure a lot of times that you explain it when we're developing people and trying, and that's a leadership thing that I'm working on, is empathy. Y'all didn't ask yet, but that's my biggest thing to work on is empathy. Is like, what if no one's ever met someone who can set that example or can be that model? And all they've seen is the bonnet being okay in the store. So they're modeling what they've seen, and it's been okay. Right. Whether it's okay for real or not.
Right. Correct. Yeah. You know, I think about the pictures that I see of the civil rights movement that are posted back in the 60s when they were fighting for us to have a right to have a voice today. Before anybody even thought that there would be a Facebook, there would be social media, there would be an internet, there were people fighting for us to have a right, to have a voice. And when I look at those images that are posted, those women are dressed, the men are dressed, you know, like they are going to a business meeting, most of them. Yeah. But I ask myself a lot of times, what happened? When did we lose this conversation? I remember when my mom and my dad, we would go to the grocery store. That was, you know, because when you don't have a lot of money, but you're trying to do the best you can with your children, going to the grocery store on Saturday at Fred Montese is an event. And a lot of people don't even remember where Fred Montese on Vance was, but we would be at the snack bar at the back. Wow, you know, my parents were shopping, but they got dressed to go to the grocery store and they made sure we were dressed. And so when you have it, I mean, when you have someone to model that behavior, that helps. Yeah.
Yeah, you made me think about mentors, because it is about the exposure. It is about what is it to be? It is to see it. You know, if you see it, you can be it. It's that, you know, and it's platforms like this, not to my own horn, but it is platforms like this and other platforms that exist. It's the ladies that's in our schools. It's the women in the community. It's the churches that we're, the social clubs that we're a part of, you know, whatever. It's having those examples, but it's the consistency of the repetition of seeing it. Yeah. Right. I can see it once. I can watch you all. Alicia just snatched the edge. You know, she may snatch some edges tonight, but they need the edges snatched repeatedly, right? To be able to really make it a habit, to make it kind of like the norm. Because what you said, Tabitha, what they are doing is the norm. The character they may be following is the norm. Or just creating the not most desired brand for themselves is possibly the norm. So it's the exposure and awareness that we create. So very glad y'all brought that up. If you had to think of like tangible tools, if there's a such thing as a tangible tool for self-branding, what would it be? Maybe a system, maybe a link, a website, I don't know.
You know, when I think of a tangible tool, there is a lady named Brandy Mitchell that I met on a Tom Joyner cruise, as a matter of fact. I had never heard of her before seeing her there, but she wrote a book about self-branding. And it's an amazing book, real simple, not heavy. You know, you can glance at it daily to get some tools that you need, you know, for personal branding. I do a lot of reading, but I also look at myself in the mirror before I walk out of the door. In my hallway, after I walk out of my bedroom, there's a mirror in the hallway, and I turn around and do a double take, a look at myself to see what I'm looking like. I don't need to see panty lines, and I don't need to see, you know, those are the types of things that you don't, because, you know, sometimes you're in a hurry and you grab some slacks and you throw them on and you think they look right. And then when you look back at yourself, you say, oh no, I can't wear these.
Mhm.
And so when you stop to take the time to go and fix it, you look at yourself. That's a tool.
Mhm.
Be
Mhm.
a person that self-evaluates
Yeah.
instead of always other evaluating, always looking at other people and
Mhm.
evaluating them.
Mhm. Yeah.
That's what I would say.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's good. I just want to take that one. So I'll add to that in saying a tangible resource, if you will, as it relates to self-branding is using this internet, right? Alicia hit on something that's just very near and dear to me, and that's like respecting the work our ancestors did when they didn't see this coming, right? So they didn't know, they knew what they were fighting for, right? They didn't know what would come of it, and quite frankly, probably didn't care. They wanted better for the future. And so, who are we to fumble the bag, the ball, whatever, and not use these resources at our fingertips? So, if I'm as a young woman, I could say, I want to be more like this. Let me look up what professional women in whatever industry look like. Let me take it a step forward further and find some people that do this, and let me go look them up. Let me look at their LinkedIn profile. Let me look at their sites. Let me look at the companies they work for. Let me see, so therefore I can begin to define myself in becoming similar to that, becoming myself, but I'm able to take bits and pieces because I'm not confined to just what I can see,
Right.
because I have access to this. Most people, right, regardless of age, race, even socioeconomic status, they have these expensive cell phones that we can utilize to our benefit to become who it is and develop the person that we want to become. And so I think when I think of tangible resources, it's using the apps, using the internet, using the Googles to look up things that can help you get to where it is you want to be. And from a personal account, I used to sit in events, conferences, whatever things that people would send me to when I was young, and I used to have an attitude about it. Why am I here? But when I would listen to the bios of successful Black women, I'd be like, I want somebody to read about me one day and be dropping all those in this organization and doing this and doing that. Like that could be me. Like, how do I do that? And so I focused on building a portfolio that allowed whenever somebody was getting ready to read about me, that it was going to, be something that someone else in the crowd that is now that younger person can be like, I want to, let me look that up. And so I went and looked those people up because I had that access. And so I think that that's a tangible resource that I often see not utilized to its best benefit, if you will, oftentimes. Because social media has so many powers that can be used for good, what we're doing right now, right? And so utilizing those resources is a tangible thing.
And then, I needed the internet back in the day, because I'm thinking about, so I didn't have internet, right? Not early, but I had Claire Huxtable on TV,
Right.
And so to your point, when we see it, I saw her and I was like, I want to be bad like that. I didn't necessarily want to be a lawyer, right? But I wanted to be smart. I wanted to be well respected. I wanted to, have this trust that people just automatically gave Claire. I don't know Claire. I don't know Felicia Rashad, but I trust the heck out of her. If I saw her on the street, I promise I'm gonna feel like she my second mama. That's what she gave for me. I wanted to exude those same things. So definitely, I mean, back then that was my internet, right? But those resources that we can actually see and touch, that usually is free. So we're not even talking about things that aren't accessible. If you don't have a phone, go to the library. They still do that. They got computers at the library. There's still access to those things that you may need. What you saying, Alicia?
And I was also going to say, trusted advisors are very important. I hear so many young women say, well, I don't fool with women. I don't fool with women. I just get, well, but you're a woman. You don't fool with yourself. Come on. You got to have somebody around you that's going to tell you the truth. It's going to tell you when you're ugly, and it's going to tell you when you're cute. And trust me when I tell you, you don't want the cheering section that's always telling you how cute you are, because you could be ugly that very day and they telling you that you're cute. Now, for me, I'm fortunate in that, I have a sister. We're very close in age. We live in the same house. I bounce things off of her. I have dear friends, that I can call. I can call my friend Cheryl. I can call my friend Vanessa, my friend Deborah, you know, Allison. So many people. I mean, and I've been fortunate that you know, I've been connected with women who have major platforms. But I also have guy friends that I can call Reggie, I can call Michael, and get the truth from them about the way I'm feeling about myself. And I can be honest, but that takes relationships. So it's important that we build relationships with people so that, you know, they can prop us up when we feeling low. You know, I hear my sister sometimes say, okay, image coach, stand up straight, you know, but you know, you slump over too much. You know, she don't care. She gonna tell the truth. But that's what I need. You know, that's what, and we all need that.
Absolutely.
So I would say get connected with people and start to befriend people who will allow you to be who you are and help you look better as well.
Yeah. I heard accountability all up in there. Yeah, hold you accountable. You about to jump in, Tab?
Yeah, on that relationship piece, because it's just so important to have community in various aspects. The way Alicia said, I have some women I can call, I got some men I can call, I got some people that's gonna cheer me on when I need to be cheered, they're gonna perk me up when I need to be perked, they're gonna check me when I need to be checked. But you have that diversity in your circles, and it matters so much to make sure that you are nurturing those relationships. So you're not just tapping into folks when you need them, but you're also being a resource to them. And you're really being who you are, your brand, and so that you can build relationships that spin from that. And when these people are, you know, connecting you to other people, they know who to make those connections with, because they know you, they know that brand, they know your due diligence, they know these things. And I think that to the point of the people like, I don't deal with women. You're a woman that came from a woman that might have a daughter that's one. So it blows me, but we have to learn forgiveness, because what I have learned is that a lot of times people maybe stop growing at the point that they were hurt. So if someone, you know, called them ugly or wasn't their friend anymore in the 3rd or 4th grade, you still 9 and in the 4th grade. And so you can't make relationships as a grown woman because you're afraid, because Shay didn't want to sit beside you anymore. Or because, you know, someone stole your boyfriend in high school, or even if it happened in your early adult, whatever, because you did not learn, or you're not utilizing the art of forgiveness or moving on, forgiving people that didn't say sorry, forgiving people who didn't know they hurt you. You're now operating in that. And so you can't make mature adult, professional, or personal relationships because you're still hurting. And oftentimes that is deep for people, because it may be that they got hurt by family, a sister, or auntie, somebody that is a woman that they probably expected to love them, right? And to nurture them, and it did not happen. And now that hurt is leading, instead of being leading by trust, forgiveness, and openness to move on to the next level. And so I try to empathize with the fact that they may have been hurt by somebody, while also being realistic to say, girl, I don't know if it's going to be by just doing it, therapy, praying, whatever, but you're going to have to get over that. Because when you look at successful people, no matter what arena they're successful in, community and relationships is at probably the top 3 of their value system. And so you got to have it. Like this whole self-made, I did it myself, built it. It's not, no, you didn't. Not anything impactful anyways. You know, it didn't happen.
Not anything sustainable. Long living. Absolutely.
Come on. You preaching, you preaching.
Y'all really are. Like I'm really mad I'm about to make this shift right here, because we gotta make this shift. but we're not done talking about branding. So I love to play this or that. We're gonna let I don't know about any of us letting our hair down, but we're gonna let our hair down, all 3 of us.
You know, natural hair don't care.
And we're gonna play this or that. So without thinking too hard, I'm gonna give you a this or that, and I want to know which one are you going with, okay? And we're still in the vein of branding though. Here we go. Chick-fil-A or McDonald's?
Chick-fil-A.
Chick-fil-A. Y'all like, that's a no-brainer. What are we talking about? Yeah. McDonald's back in the day, but Chick-fil-A came in and snatched up the game. They did. They did.
And what did they do? What did they do? They personalized their service.
Yeah. They
My
did.
pleasure.
They played very close attention to that. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Victoria's Secret or Fendi? Did I get that right?
Say that again?
Victoria's Secret or Fendi? Did I say that right, Tab? Is it Fendi?
You did.
Okay. Good.
You said Fendi?
Uh-huh.
Oh, Fendi for me. Victoria's Secret don't make nothing I can wear.
Okay.
I'm not mad about it. I'm good.
Look, but here's the thing: we trust different brands for different reasons, right? So even when we talk about leaders, we trust different leaders because of their brand. It's something different about it, right? So I love it. You was like, they don't
What
have my
about you,
size.
Tab?
I don't fuck with
Yeah,
them.
I would say I like Fendi, man, but I'm gonna stand on Victoria's Secret because I can run in there and get that sale.
Yeah.
I can run in there and get that 7 for 32. And so and their quality, right? Their quality. So which Fendi is amazing. Still stand by, but I'm gonna have to go with Vicky. I'm gonna have to go with Vicky.
Okay. I'm a Vicky girl too. I'll be honest, I had done Fendi and I look at it, I'm really enamored by it. I'm like, oh, it looks good, but I hadn't tried it yet. So I'm gonna get there. Coca-Cola or Pepsi?
Pepsi.
Neither.
Okay, neither.
No.
Pepsi is like a ball of sugar to me, and so I'm gonna have to go with my Coca-Cola. I'm sorry.
I mean, if I had to choose, it would be
right. Yeah. Which one you gonna go? You said Coke if you had to choose. Okay. All right. Costco or Sam's?
Costco. I love Costco. Everybody that knows me know I love Costco. Costco has amazing everything.
Oh wow.
Sam's.
Okay. I don't have a preference. I'm
It's
a Walmart
proximity.
girl because I don't have to have a membership in either one of them. The other two make me have to do a membership. I go to Walmart. Oh, let me see. Trisha said Fenty has plus size and it's definitely inclusive. So
That's what I'm
there
saying.
we go. We got Fenty in the group. And yeah, y'all put in the chat, who are y'all? What's your this or that? We'll kind of read them out too. We got a few more to go. All right. So Colgate or Crest?
Crest for me.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't use either, but I'm gonna have to go with Crest because I just remember it more.
Okay. I somehow I end up with Crest all the time. I don't know if it's the cheapest thing I see when I get to the shelf. I don't know, but I always end up with Crest. I hope I'm doing a good job. Y'all tell me.
You're doing it.
I got the light showing tonight, but anyway. Home Depot or Lowe's?
I hear saying both because I'm thinking neither. Lowe's for me.
Okay. Look.
But Lowe's, if I got
Lowe's.
Lowe's.
Yeah.
Look, in the chat, we got we got Colgate, we got Costco, and we got some Lowe's and some Home Depot. I am a Home Depot. No, let me make sure I got it right. I'll take that back. I'm a Lowe's girl. Yeah, that's where I spend the majority of my time between the two. Okay. All right, so last one, iPhone or Android?
iPhone. Oh,
Android.
Come on. Oh, you Android, Alicia? I'm sorry you have that experience.
Until the day I die. Because I don't understand any of those. iPad. I bought an iPad once. I was just telling somebody today. I bought an iPad. I had to take the iPad back because I was like, this is not mixing with my phone. And I didn't realize that, with the iPad or iPhone, that's it. You got an Android, you got to look with an iPad because it's not going to connect and do anything.
But I will say y'all are great for pictures. Android is great for pictures. I use my twin. If we're ever in a crowd, I'm like, you got the Droid, come on. Because, y'all got a lot of filters that y'all can use on there. So, but I'm an iPhone user. So I team iPhone to the day I die. Okay, unless they come out with something else.
Look,
let's see what we got.
Enough for me to figure this Android out. I'm not gonna try to figure nothing out.
I would just say stick with what you know. Stick with what you know. Yes. And I must say, it looks like the iPhone team iPhone is all in through the chat. Like everybody
I feel
knows
like one Android maybe.
Let me see. Yeah, there is a Droid. You know that. That's my Aunt Cheryl. You know what? Aunt Cheryl got the Droid.
But leave your Aunt Cheryl alone. That's not good for you.
Look, I'm messing with you and her, but no, iPhone or Droid. So it looks like the winner for that is going to be iPhone. So this has been so great, y'all. I just want to ask if you had to leave one nugget for the evening, just one. And it's like if I don't take anything else away, when I think back tomorrow, man, Tabitha said and I need to go do that. Alicia told me I need to go do X, Y, Z, and I'm about to go do it. What is that nugget?
If I can go first, I would say to everybody that's listening, find out who you are. You have to know who you are in order to brand yourself. authentically. That's the one nugget. We on Facebook searching for likes, but do you like yourself?
You better quit. Quit. I like that edge. You better stop snatching it.
And there are people that actually go back and say, I didn't have that many likes on this picture, or I didn't have that many likes on this. But you know what? Do you like yourself? Start asking those types of questions and look inward so that you can, build upon what you need to build upon to be the best self you can. That would be the nugget I would leave, because it's exhausting trying to be somebody else. And please everybody. It's exhausting.
Janico asked, where would you start?
Well, the first place I would start would be with something like an emotional intelligence tool, maybe Strength Finders 2.0. It's an excellent tool. And you can find that book on Amazon. And it has very structured assessments that you can take. Each Strength Finder 2.0 book comes with an assessment tool that will allow you to go in and answer some questions about yourself and provide you with the result of your strengths. And that is good, because a lot of people focus on their weaknesses, but Gallup says, focus on your bench strength and build that. So that's what I would say. That's where you would start. And then have your friends, people you trust, interview you. Ask them, what do I need to fix?
Yep. Get those people that's gonna be honest with you.
Yeah.
What about you, Tab? Absolutely. She's like, I got more than one nugget. I got more than one.
Right. I'm like, I don't know which one. Be okay doing the most, whatever that means for you. Be okay doing the most. Don't let external factors turn your light off or down, right? If you walk in your excellence, be who you are, be the best version of that, and go there, right? It doesn't matter. They can say you're extra, they can say you're doing the most. Let them have that. Okay. You're doing that for you. And I have to slide in like the gym point 2 is that be the bomb offline, and then you're not worried about the likes. You're not, if the picture get the likes, great. If the people share it, wonderful, whatever. But if you the bomb in real life, you're comfortable with yourself in real life, you're confident in real life, you are understanding that a lot of times it's not even that we fake on social media, right? But if I have a brand to uphold, if I'm crying, I'm probably not about to go live and let y'all cry with me. I'm going to post the smiling picture talking about me going to speak or whatever, because that's what I want to talk about. But knowing that it's not all about what you see, even if those of us who are leaders or are successful or what have you that you are looking at, we can't give you all of our 24 hours, 365 and 365 leap year. You can never see it all. And so stop getting so caught up on, well, I didn't get as many likes as Tab, or my face didn't look as good as Alicia, so I can never get my hair laid like Christine. Worry about, girl, if you don't go do the most and be you and worry about you and keep your eyes on your own paper, because we're not taking the same test.
That is, oh my goodness. She dropped the mic.
We're gonna everybody.
Right. Let's drop.
Everybody drop the mic. Drop the mic in the chat. Drop the mic in the chat. So how can we connect with you all? I'm gonna tell everybody, I always like to say this. After I do this, we all best friends. I don't care what y'all say. We best friends. We go back like 2 flats in a Cadillac. That's my story. I'm sticking to it. I know how to get in touch with you all, but while y'all are on here helping support my vision, I want to make sure that we are pouring back into you all, right? So how can we stay connected? The audience, how can they connect with you? How can they support your efforts? How can they donate? How can they press, like? How can they do a share, a post? Like whatever it is you want to let us know about, we want to be able to pour back into you. So we ready. What you got?
Alicia, I'll defer to you. You go first.
Okay, so I am on Instagram as Image Coach AEJ, at Image Coach AEJ. And I am on Facebook as Alicia Jones. I also have a group on Facebook called Image Coach. that you can reach me. And I have a webpage, www.imagecoachconsulting.com. I know it's long, but that's all I could think of at the
It's
time.
gonna be in the chat. Say it one more time. Say it one more time.
Website
We're gonna make sure it goes to the chat, and they're gonna be able to come back and do it.
Okay, it's www.imagecoachconsulting.com.
Perfect, perfect. All right, so y'all got Alicia in the bag now. Well, how we gonna get a hold of Tab?
I am Tabitha D. James on Facebook, LinkedIn, and IG. On IG is at Miss Tabitha D. But if you type in Tabitha D. James, you'll definitely find me. Website is www.tabithadjames.com. So I would love to connect with you all. Send me a friend request, follow, connect, whichever platform you're on, and from there you can find all the things, all the hats, all the entities, and connect where you both see most best fitting. So it was, and Christine, I will not leave without saying thank you so much.
Right.
Yes, thank you so much.
Absolutely. No, I appreciate you all saying yes. One thing that's always important to me, and what I really loved about this session is while we're doing all that, we can give out all these verbal, hey, do this, 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 and this, but you all actually gave us tangible resources. We got a book, we got planners, we got the Strength Finder test, we got all of that. So I really want to make sure that the audience looks in the chat, gets access to those so that you can start to activate, not just feel good after you get off this platform. Like, yeah, I feel real good and warm, but we need you to put things into action and to activate what you take. So, I mean, after tonight's session, I realized I got some work to do, okay? But we always got work to do. We always refining, reinventing, restructuring, fine tuning, doing all of that. So one of the main things that I gained from tonight was the importance of showing up, but not just showing up, but showing up prepared and with intent. And I'd like to say both of you ladies did that tonight. And everybody that's in the chat, thank you all. You all did that tonight. Y'all showed up tonight, and I really, really appreciate it. So a couple more things I want to share. Again, I'm Kristen Webb with the Greater You Leadership Series. Next month, we are doing Confidence and Reach. It is the signature course for the Greater You Leadership Series. And we deep dive, we cry, we do ugly cries, we laugh, we really go into spaces to really unpack what our confidence looks like. How do we develop it? How do we maintain it? And ultimately, how are we going to continue being effective leaders because of our confidence, because of our awareness of ourself, right? Of our self-branding as well. So we're back in June with another panel discussion. I'm not going to tell you what it's going to be about. You got to stay in the loop, but we do these every other month. And then join the Women Leaders Walk the Talk Facebook group. You all, we have over 500 women that come together and encourage each other. We share information. We drop is business. You know what? Some days I do like Boss Business Day. Let us know your business. We want to support you. What resources are you looking for? Or just simply, you might want to vent for the day. So, come over there, join, and you're going to be with other like-minded women who are just trying to continue to excel and be the best versions of themselves. And then lastly, share, and follow. The website for the Greater You Leadership Series is www.thegreateryouleadership.com. The social media handles are at The Greater You Leadership and at Women Leaders Walk the Talk. So I love staying on time, y'all. We got 2 minutes, and I'm going to let y'all, like Auntie Maxine, I'm going to let y'all reclaim your time. Thank you all. Stay in the loop. And as I always say, let's lead.
Yes, let's do it.
Yes, let's lead.